Hey, what's wrong with you, man? You ain't subscribed yet? IUIC Atlanta Burning 2.0. What you waiting on? Get it done. Do it now.
Hey, get them clicks, get them likes, and subscribe. Do it now.
A couple quick questions for you, because we're talking about our people in general, right? Let's get personal. Let's talk about you and me. How do you know that you're God's people? Because nobody else matters unless you know who you are and you know that you're God's people. What does everything we told you about what happened to our people in the past, about who we are, what does it matter? What's the importance of it? Yeah, us here teaching you the Bible, why is it important? How is any of this that we're telling you, how does this, the slave ships, the knowing that Jesus is black, knowing who you are, how does that change your life? How does that affect you personally? Here's what I want you to do. I want you to think about, how old are you? So you're a young man, you're 26 years old. Let me ask you, in your 26 years of living, what are some things in your life that you wish were different? Some of the struggles that you've gone through, that us as black people face, that other people don't face. What are some of the things that we as a people struggle with? Some of the things that you've seen personally in your life, your experiences being black. You on. What you mean by that? Life itself. Let me ask you, go to work? You go to work? 26 years. You go to work. Do you ever feel like we have enough to sustain us? Do you ever get to really enjoy the fruits of your labor going to work? Give me Haggai 1 and 6. I'm going to show you something about our people, right? Because a lot of times we generalize things. We didn't actually see slavery. So a lot of times it's hard for us to connect with the Bible. I want us to be able to connect with the Bible based off of our life experiences. Read that. You find Haggai 1 and 6. Haggai 1, read this first.
The book of 2nd Ezra, chapter 4 and verse 23. For it was not my mind to be curious of the high things.
So we're not worried about the high things because people see Bible, they automatically think about the heavens, they think about God, the angels, this mysterious spirituality, right? No, this is a history book. This is a book of laws, and it's a book of commandments. This book deals with things we go through on an everyday basis. So right now, we're not going to deal with the high things. What are we going to deal with? Read.
But of such as pass by us daily.
So we're going to deal with the things that pass by us daily, the things that go on an everyday basis. Read on.
Namely, wherefore Israel is given up as a reproach to the heathen.
So the first thing we're going to deal with is why the children of Israel, because that's who the so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans are. We are called the children of Israel. We're going to deal with why us as a people have been given over to the other nations. We serve the other nations. They don't serve us. We don't rule. We don't own anything, do we? The other nations rule. Do we pay taxes to each other? No, we pay taxes to them. Read on.
And for what cause? And for what cause the people whom thou hast loved is given over unto ungodly nations.
So why is it that the people that God said he loved, God said he loved us. He chose the 12 tribes of Israel above all nations. So why is it that the nation that he said he loved, why are we given as slaves, as servants to the other nations? Read on.
And why the law of our fathers is brought to naught.
Why is it that none of the children of Israel, when you look at black people, we're not keeping the laws of God. We don't keep the commandments. Thou shalt not kill. Thou shalt not steal. Don't commit adultery. Keep the Sabbath day holy. Love one another as you love yourself. Black people don't apply that. So why is the laws of God brought to nothing? Read on.
And the written covenants come to none effect.
God said that if we kept his commandments, guess what? We would be in rulership. You're supposed to be in rulership. Won't you do me a favor? Look at my man behind us. We think that's normal. That's not normal. We aren't supposed to live like that. God loves him. So why is it that he can be in the condition that he's in?
Bring it out.
Read on.
And we pass away out of the world as grasshoppers.
So why is it that when one of us die, nothing happens? They kill us time and time again, but guess what? Do we ever see justice? Hell no. These are the things that we're going to deal with. So now, you mentioned you go to work. You never get to really enjoy the fruits of your labors. We don't own businesses. We don't rule kingdoms. Hell, my check engine light on my truck right now. And guess what? I work all the time. Read that, Haggai 1:6.
The book of Haggai, chapter 1, verse 6.
Bring it out.
You have sown much and bring in little.
So it says we've sown much. We've sown much. Give me Jeremiah 22:13. We work a lot. That's what it means to sow, to go out in the field and to plant. We've sown much. We put in much work. America would not be America had it not been for us building it. Read on.
Ye eat, but ye have not enough.
We eat, but we've never had enough. No matter how much we work, no matter how much we eat, guess what? We never have enough to prosper in this land. Read on.
Ye drink, but ye are not filled with drink.
Come on.
Ye clothe you, but there is none warm. And he that earneth wages.
It says, he that earneth wages. Do we not earn a wage when we go to work? Exactly. Read on.
Earneth wages to put into a bag with holes.
Does what?
He that earneth wages to put into a bag with holes.
So by the time you see your paycheck on Friday, guess what? That money already gone. It's like you putting it into your pocket and your pocket got a hole in it. Because as soon as you get it, guess what? It's going to pay the other nations. It's going to pay your rent, your mortgage, your light bill, your car insurance, your taxes. So you never get to keep that money in your pocket. But wait a minute. God said that that was going to happen to who? He said it was going to happen to the children of Israel. Guess what? Does it happen to you? Does it happen to me? You better believe it. So far, based off of life experience, God is showing you what? He's talking to you in the Bible.
Bring it out.
He's talking to you. Read that, Jeremiah 22:13.
The book of Jeremiah, chapter 22 and verse 13.
Bring it out.
Woe unto him that buildeth his house by unrighteousness.
It says destruction to the people that build their nation on unrighteousness. Let's see who he's talking to.
And his chambers by wrong, that useth his neighbor's services without wages.
It says, he that useth his neighbor's services without wages. Do they pay us what we're worth? The amount of work that we do in this nation, do we ever get paid what we're worth? No, we don't. But why? Why is that? It's because we did not do what God commanded us to do. Sister, how you doing? I'm going to show you something. We used one of your life experiences. Let's use one of yours. Sis, question for you. You on the spot. You on the spot. Don't worry. We done all been there before. Don't run nowhere. I want to ask you something. Do you believe in the Bible? You do. All of our people, when they come up, we ask them, do they believe in the Bible? They say yes. Who are you in the Bible? Because God created 18 different nations of people, and all of them are not the same. You have to know to which nation of people you belong to be able to identify what in the scriptures is actually talking to you and what's talking about you. Have you ever been posed that question? No. Have you ever even thought about it? No. Let me ask you a question. Have you ever heard about the history that happened in Egypt with Moses and the Egyptians, where he parted the Red Sea and took the children of Israel out of Egypt? We've all heard that history, right? The Egyptians and both the Israelites were both black people. But to which one of those nations do we belong? Were you a part of the people that were in captivity, that was taken out of Egypt and freed? Or were you part of the Egyptians that were destroyed? That's the importance of knowing what nation you belong to. You follow me? You get my point? Okay. Let's touch on a little bit of what goes on with us personally. Now, you don't want me to put you on the spot, so I won't put you on the spot. But what are some things that us as black people face here in America or worldwide that the other nations really don't have to deal with? Some of the things that you've seen personally in your lifetime that black people have to deal with, that other nations don't have to worry about. Okay, I'm gonna help you along. That's your son? Do you ever have to worry about him whenever he gets older? Let's say he's 18, 19 years old and he's out on his own. What are some of the things that you have to worry about as a black mother of a young black man that other nations don't have to worry about when it comes to their sons? Think about some of the things that happen to young black men. What is it that you worry about?
Bring it out.
Okay, nothing. I'm gonna give you a perfect example. When you in your car, I want you to be honest with me. When you're in your car and you're driving, and you see the police get behind you, do you ever look in your rearview mirror or your side mirrors? Why? Why? I'm asking you, because deep down inside, you know that when we are driving down the street and the police get behind us, there's a chance that we might not be going home. Do you think the other nations have that same fear? You said you don't live in fear, but in all actuality, we do. Am I lying? If I'm lying, tell me I'm lying. Huh? I'm not lying. Why? Because I'm a black man in America. I know some of the things that we go through. I've been on this earth long enough to know our struggles. What happens is our people don't want to admit it. Give me Deuteronomy 28 and 65. These are some of the things that we go through. We just fail to acknowledge it, and we fail to realize why we go through it. I'm going to show you why. Read that.
The book of Deuteronomy chapter 28 and verse 65. And among these nations shalt thou find no evil.
Do we ever find peace in this land? No, we don't. But the other nations, they get to live peacefully. I just gave you an example. Read on.
Shall thou find no ease, neither shall the sole of thy foot have rest.
Have you ever had rest in this land? You get up, you go to work, you take care of your bills. Do we ever get to truly rest in this land? No, we don't. We don't. We are in the worst conditions. I just said we live in the ghettos, in the slums, but we are the hardest working people on earth.
Right.
Read on.
But the Lord shall give thee there a trembling heart.
It says in this land, amongst these nations, God would give us trembling of heart. Read on.
And failing of eyes.
And when we look for justice, do we ever get it? No, we don't. How old is your son? 6. How old was Tamir Rice? Tamir Rice wasn't much older than him when he got gunned down. That could have been your son.
Right.
You see what I'm getting at? That very easily could have been your young boy that got gunned down. What are you going to do when you're in that same situation? You have to think about that. See, a lot of times we detach ourselves from things that happen because it didn't happen to me directly. But guess what? You live in the same fear as we all live in. Read on.
And sorrow of mine, and thy life shall hang in doubt.
It says your life will hang in doubt. Our lives hang in doubt because we don't know on our way back to the school whether the cops is going to kill us. You never know. And guess what? When that happens, do we ever get justice for it? Give me Zechariah 11 and verse 7. We never see justice for the wrongs that's done to our people. You have to begin to see yourself in this Bible. Read this.
The book of Zechariah chapter 11 verse 7. And I will feed the flock of slaughter.
Verse 6.
Verse 6.
No, I'm sorry, verse 5.
Verse 5. Whose possessors slay them.
It says, whose possessors slay them. A possessor means to own. Who owned us in this land? Say it a little louder. White people.
Bring it out.
Do they still own us? What you think? Exactly, yes. Because I'll give you a perfect example.
Bring it out.
Mexico, free country, right? America, so-called free country, right? They're both connected. Can you just walk into Mexico if you want to? What do you have to get? A passport. What is another word for a passport? A permission slip.
Bring it out.
So you mean to tell me you got to go to the same people that owned you before to get a permission slip to say I can go from one free land to another?
Bring it out.
They still own us. If you have a house and you don't pay your taxes, do you get to keep said house? No. Who takes it? The same people you got to get the passport from.
Bring it out.
They still own us as a people physically. But guess what? We're giving you the medicine so that you can free yourself mentally and spiritually.
That's right.
And once you do that, oh, now it's on. Christ is the one that's going to come us and free us physically.
That's right.
Read that.
Who possessors slay them and hold themselves not guilty.
Hold themselves not guilty. Let me give you one more scripture before you go. Give me Ecclesiastes 12 and 13. Since you got to go, I'm going to sum up everything that I've told you. The few things that I've read to you, God did not say them to African Americans. He did not say them to black people.
Right.
He did not say them to Negroes, niggas, none of that. The scriptures we read have been about the children of Israel.
That's right.
Now, the scriptures we read, have they been about your life? So guess what? If God was talking to the children of Israel and he said these things would happen to them and nobody else, and they happen to you and your son and your nation of people, what must that make you? The children of Israel. The same people that God was talking to. That's the first thing that you have to know. Now, let's get the second and one of the most important things. I'm going to sum it up with this.
Verse 12 and 13. Let us hear the conclusion of the whole matter.
So let us hear the conclusion of everything that we're telling you. This is what you need to take from everything that we've told you since you've been standing there.
Fear God.
It says to fear God. Why? Because God is the one that sends the other nations against us when we choose to rebel against him. God is the one that put us in slavery. God is the one that has us on the bottom of society because we chose not to keep his commandments. So you have to fear a God that can not only destroy the body, but also your soul. Read on.
And keep his commandments.
What?
And keep his commandments.
He said, fear God and keep the commandments. That's the most important lesson you can ever have in this lifetime. God didn't tell the other nations to fear him and keep his commandments. He told you. He told your nation of people. Read on.
For this is the whole duty of man.
That's your whole purpose for being created. If you don't know your purpose, if you didn't know it before now, guess what? Your purpose is to fear God and keep his commandments. So when you walk away from here, you have a decision to make. You have to decide whether I'm going to just ignore what them crazy brothers in purple said and I'm going to continue to live my life the way I have, or you can decide, you know what? It might have been some truth to what them brothers were saying. Let me learn a little bit more, because we're not asking you for no money. We don't want nothing from you. What I want to see is when Christ returns, I want to see you standing next to me. That's what I want to see. I want to see your son standing next to me in the kingdom of God. That's what I want to see. And in order to do that, you have to learn who you are and what God requires of you. Because if you don't know, guess what? When Christ come back, he killing you and your son. Period, point blank. And if you don't want that, guess what? You better learn what you got to do so that you can teach that young man there. And the only way for you to learn that is to get around other men who already know it. You can choose to go back to the Christian church. You can choose to continue to live your life the way you was living it before. God gave you that option. But what you better do, you better choose God above everything else. You good? I'm good too. It felt good teaching you. The information that's on that flyer that one of them brothers gave you, there's contact information on the back of that. That's your history. That's the most important thing for you to ever learn in your lifetime. I don't care about no college degree. I don't care about no high school diploma. I don't care about none of that. What God said, that's what you better learn, and that's what you better attach yourself to. You hear me? I'm not playing with you. I'm not playing with you. This is not a game. This is serious.
What is a nation?
Nation is men leading by example. Nation is family. Nation is community. Nation is children with role models. Nation is unity. Nation is you.
And finally, my brethren, be strong in the Lord. His word